guys, I am Pixel Dan, and today we are going to be checking out the newest wave of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem action figures from Playmates Toys, with this wave including Mondo Gecko, the Chill Dude, Wingnut, Robo-Bat, Genghis Frog, the Croaking Bloke, and Scumbug the Vermin. Really exciting that it's a whole wave of other mutant characters. Of course, weirdly missing is Ray Filet. He's basically the only one that we don't have from this group now as an action figure, so that is a bit of a bummer. But regardless, I'm pretty excited to dive in and check out all four of these brand new figures. Of course, Mutant Mayhem is out now for everybody to watch. These guys have a pretty big role in the movie. Really cool seeing some of these classic characters modernized and get roles in a movie. Something we've never really had before with them. So I think these look like a lot of fun. Same kind of card backs that we've had for all of the other figures in this line so far. You can see the back has that same cross-sell showing all of the characters, though it is the movie designs, not the actual toy photos themselves. But then we get a little file card down here on the bottom for each of the characters. You can see Scumbug right there. We've got Ghengis right there. Also, Ghengis, worth noting, has got this little try me window on the back of his box. And he's got a big hole cut out in the actual blister bubble there. Let me see if I can actually look at that. So you can make the tongue jut out through the packaging, which is actually pretty funny. Also a classic Ninja Turtles action feature. And there's Wingnut as well. So pretty cool stuff. Let's go ahead and open these figures up, and we will get a closer look at them. All right, we got all of our new mutants, our mighty mutanimals, if you will, outside of the packaging. Very similar to what we typically see with the Playmates TMNT line. The scales are definitely fudged just a little bit. Now, most of these characters were on the smaller side in the film anyway. So you can see like Ghengis here is the smallest. He is just right at 3 inches tall. Scumbug back here is close to 4 if we count the antenna. Same with Wingnut if we count the ears. With Mondo standing right at 4 inches tall. The skateboard obviously makes him go a little bit taller than that. The colors here are amazing. Like, this is a bright, colorful bunch of figures, which I think looks really cool. And honestly, these sculpts are pretty great as far as capturing the designs of these characters from the animation. So let's go ahead and look at them one by one here. We'll go ahead. Let's have some fun and start with Scumbug here. A character that, man, she ended up turning out to be a pretty funny character there in the film. They really played up the disgustingness of Scumbug in this particular movie, which, the original one was a he, and he was always kind of a gross looking character. So this new Scumbug, she still looks very similar to Scumbug as far as like the colors and everything like that goes. But obviously stylized for that new animation. Some fun stuff here. The wings on the back are removable. In fact, you'll have to plug those in outside of the packaging. But look, you can even fold down the little wing covers on the back there, and it covers up the holes so that you can have her displayed without her wings out, which I think is a really nice touch. Aside from that, the paint deco is pretty good. It's very common for Playmates toys to kind of, be a little sparse with their paint apps, but this one's not too bad. You got the bright blue turquoisey tattered shirt there. You've got some different kind of variants in the purple colors. You see how it fades down her arms into more of a pinkish on the claws there. The legs are just an unpainted purple plastic there. And as far as articulation goes, the head just kind of rotates left and right, but you can see it's ball jointed. So, you got a little bit of extra movement in there. It rolls around a little bit. The arms can go outwards, forwards, and backwards, and then you just have a swivel at the claws there. The claws are a bit pliable, so you can kind of pry them open, but it's not actually an articulation point. The little extra hands on the front are just sort of pliable, gummy plastic that's plugged into the front of the figure. You got the hinge joints there with the hinge on the front of the legs. Pretty common on these Turtles figures as well. It can also swivel there, but we do also have knee joints. You can see, and actually they're kind of covered up by the sculpt, which is pretty nice. But you can swivel them there at the knees as well. But there is nothing in the feet or the ankles, though she does stand fine, especially when you kind of bend the knees the way you want to. And those translucent wings, those are really nice. They actually clip into place pretty solidly there on the back. And they're big wings, so you do kind of have to find the balance there, but she balances really well. To add to the gross factor, she comes with removable puke. So you've got like the green puke or whatever that comes out of her mouth, and hilariously, she comes with a small framed picture of Splinter. I love this accessory. It's hilarious. Scumbug and Splinter forever. It's hilarious stuff. She's pretty fun, though. The puke is hilarious on this one. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Wingnut. She's a pretty cool looking figure as well. Does a great job of capturing the way this character looks in the movie. One of the things I thought was really interesting with this particular redesign is that they changed up some of the robotic style parts for this particular character. Because, you know, classic Wingnut always had like tiny little bat wings, and so he built on the big robotic metal wings over his tiny bat wings. But this version of Wingnut, she's got her regular bat wings, but she's got robot arms. So it's a bit of a departure from classic Wingnut for this particular redesign. The colors are really great. The blues and the blacks still definitely invoke that like kind of Batman spoof that the original Wingnut was always kind of trying to be. In fact, for her accessories, she comes with this Batarang type weapon and a grappling gun. So that really does still play into like that Batman spoof that Wingnut always had there. Those actually go great in her hands. She's got good grips on her hands. And with these crazy robotic arms, you can see it's still the same type of articulation. So the arms can go outwards, up and down. She does have bends in her elbows and swivels at the wrist. The legs there do have hinge joints in the front so they can come forwards and swivel. And then same with the swivels and the bends at the knees, but no other articulation in the feet. And then the head can just kind of rotate side to side there. The wings also, you have to plug these in when you open her out of the package. Very similar to Scumbug, but they do clip in place very nice. They're also kind of that translucent, frosted translucent plastic, just like Scumbug's, but these are done in purple. She's a pretty fun little figure. She's kind of got one of the more drastic redesigns for a classic Ninja Turtles character, but this figure does a pretty great job of looking the way she appeared in the film. So let's go ahead and bring it on over to Genghis Frog. He was very short and stout in this particular movie, but there's some really great nods to vintage Genghis Frog in the fact that he's still wearing a Hawaiian-themed shirt. It's not blue, it's pink, but I do love the palm trees and the flowers. I think it's a really great design all the way around. You'll also notice he's got this little dial on his back, which is for his action feature. It's a classic Turtles action feature with the tongue that can go in and out. In fact, they did this with the Genghis Frog figure in the 2012 series too. So that's pretty fun. Now, because of that action feature, he feels pretty hollow, but he's still, he's sturdy feeling. He doesn't feel like overly lightweight, but he's considerably lighter than the others because he's got a hollow body for that particular gimmick. Now, there's really not a lot of articulation here because of his overall size and stature. The eyes don't... I think it would have been cool if you could articulate the eyes, but they don't move. The arms do go up and down. You can see the shirt is actually like a separate piece, so it's pliable, but the sleeves are sculpted as part of the arms there. But that's the only movement is there at the shoulders, and then you can kind of just rotate the feet side to side. He comes with this crazy big axe, which clips onto his wrist and can be held in his hand there. He's a fun-looking figure. He definitely looks just like the Ghengis in the movie. And variant alert... yeah, I found two versions of Genghis Frog already. This light green one I found at Walmart. This dark green one I found at Target. I don't know if they're actually store specific. My guess is it's a running change I think the darker green is more accurate to the film. My guess is the first run is light green and then they shifted to this dark green. So if you are a variant hunter, keep a lookout because there are 2 different Genghis Frogs out there already. Crazy stuff. And that's gonna bring us to Mondo Gecko, who was one of my favorite characters in the new movie. His redesign is also a bit different. He is a blue gecko this time. It's funny how, like, in all these different versions, his, like, color changes. Obviously, he was green in the original. He was yellow in the 2012 series. Now he's blue in Mutant Mayhem. But he's got a really fun design going on there. He's rocking this backpack. It is removable. You can see it's just a little peg, so it plugs into his back. I love his vest there. He's got like a peace sign shirt. He's wearing all these beads. He's got look at the tuft of hair sticking through the little visor, the backwards visor. You'll also notice on this one, he's got sandals as part of the sculpt, and these are unpainted. Again, for you variant hunters, I've seen photos online with people finding this guy with fully painted sandals. I haven't found that one yet, but it's something I want to keep a lookout for. He's also got the roller skate taped to his tail, which is a classic signature of Mondo Gecko. For his accessory, he's got this tie-dye frisbee, which is really fun. Since he's got such weird fingers, the way that this works is there's like a peg on the back of the frisbee that fits in his hand so he can hold on to the frisbee. And of course, you can't have Mondo Gecko without a skateboard. Now, unfortunately, the skateboard is a bit chintzy on this particular figure. It's molded in bright yellow. It's only got 1 sticker on it, so you don't got a bunch of stickers like the vintage one. It does roll fine, but one of the things that kind of annoys me is the placement of the foot peg. It is in the worst possible spot ever because they put it right in the middle of the board. So in order for him to use it, he's got to stand like completely off center, which like this is obviously not how you would ride a skateboard. And if his legs are like straight up and down, his little roller skate on his tail doesn't touch the ground. The way I would prefer him to stand is like to bend his legs a little bit. Because look, now we've got him balanced so the skate is actually on the ground. But look at that, the peg is right in the middle. Like this is where his feet should be. So the peg needs to be here or in both spaces. I have no idea why they stuck it right in the middle. Drives me crazy. That is a terrible place for a foot peg. It just doesn't work with how a skateboard should work. But I don't know. I'm griping about that, obviously. I still think this Mondo Gecko is a pretty fun figure. So here's something else I want to talk about in this video. Now, with these figures in Wave 2, we've got all of the mutants from the movie, with the exception of one. Where's Ray Filet? Now, I have no idea why we don't have a Ray Filet yet. I assume that one will be coming, but as of right now, this Funko Pop is the only Ray Filet figure on the market. I saw some sort of rumors saying that, like, Funko had some sort of like early access rights to this character, and that's why he's only available as a pop. Although I couldn't confirm that, so, you know, don't take that as gospel by any means. But it's interesting. I went ahead and picked him up just so I can have a Ray Filet to display with my figures. So we're gonna pop that open. And I'm sorry for any of you pop collectors who keep your things in the boxes, but like, not here on my channel. We open this stuff. Apparently it was also a fall convention exclusive, except I totally bought this from Target, so he's out there. He should be pretty easy to get. Now, I will say it's interesting because he's not as pop-like as you would expect. They actually did make him look very stylized like Ray Filet is in the movie, with the exception of his one eye over here having that black round Funko style to it. But look at him with these figures. He almost even fits in scale-wise. So, I mean, if we are waiting for Playmates to do a proper Ray Filet, at least this fits in with your figures. But definitely I would much rather have an actual action figure to go with the rest of these. But I guess this is our only option for Ray Filet at this moment. All right, guys, it's comparison time. Now, look, I always like to do comparison time because honestly, I just like to see where the inspiration comes from a lot of times with old toys versus newer versions of these characters. But I also know a lot of you guys look at this as some sort of a competition. So take this for what you will. Obviously, as I said, Wingnut is one of the bigger departures from the classic look. So this over here on the left is the vintage Playmates Toys version of Wingnut, which is one of my favorite figures from the original line, and the new Mutant Mayhem version standing alongside it. Here is Mutant Mayhem Scumbug alongside the vintage Scumbug action figure. This one was always one that I always really liked as well. But here's what I was talking about. You can definitely see the similarities with the blue tattered shirt, the purples, the yellow antenna on the top. Here's the vintage Genghis Frog action figure alongside the Mutant Mayhem version. They still have similar taste in their attire with their Hawaiian shirts, but I also want to show you guys this, because this is the 2012 version of Genghis Frog, which, as I mentioned earlier, has a similar action feature with the tongue, although I didn't really love this particular figure, so I definitely like the Mutant Mayhem version a bit better than that. Obviously, vintage is king. Mondo Gecko is another figure that I loved in the vintage line. So here are these two standing side by side. You can see what I was talking about with the colors. Also, the skateboard was so much cooler on vintage Mondo Gecko than what we got with this new one here. But here's another 2012 comparison I want to do, because this is what Mondo Gecko looked like in that particular series. So really interesting to see three pretty different looking Mondo Geckos in action figure form. Though I gotta say, characterization has always been pretty great. This was a great character in 2012. The Paul Rudd version of Mutant Mayhem was hilarious, so I'm always a Mondo fan. And since I opened up that Funko Pop, let's go ahead and do a Ray Filet comparison time. Vintage Ray Filet here standing alongside the redo for Mutant Mayhem. And there you go, my friends. There is a look at Wave 2 of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Look, all in all, I think this is a pretty fun toy line, and I like all of these figures just fine. I also really like the price point on this toy line, because Playmates has done a great job at keeping these right around that $10 mark, which is pretty amazing considering the toy prices this day and age. Of course, that is always going to reflect in paint apps and stuff like that, but these are decent. These are pretty good, and it's really fun getting these designs in action figure form. You can fit these in with the other figures that we've got from Wave 1, which helps you create Superfly's crew or the face turn, do the Mighty Mutanimals. Either way, really fun stuff, and I'm excited to see what we're going to get going forward, because this, aside from Ray Filet, pretty much covers all of the characters we got in Mutant Mayhem, unless we're going to get some of those other characters who are a little less exciting. I don't know, Baxter Stockman, Cynthia Utrom, maybe. But I imagine with the Tales of the TMNT series coming out at some point, I assume we'll be getting toys based on that as well. So these are in stores right now. Like I said, I found all of these at Walmart and Target. They seem to be plentiful. So happy hunting, my friends. And until next time. Hey guys, I am Pixel Dan, and today we're going to be checking out the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem Mega Mutant. Yeah, this is one I've been pretty excited about, of course, ever since seeing Mutant Mayhem and finding out that we were getting this guy in the collection. Now, this is a Walmart exclusive. You can see it right there, only at Walmart. It's got that Mutation Station logo on there, which is kind of what they've been putting on all of the Walmart exclusive stuff. And I know, store exclusives. Hopefully this won't be too terribly hard to find, because the other Mutant Mayhem product so far has been pretty easy to track down. These guys have actually been showing up for a while now. I feel like I'm kind of one of the last ones to get them at this point, but I still wanted to talk about him because, come on, it's the Mega Mutant. Really excited to check this out. As you can see, it comes in that open box packaging. So it's very similar to what we've seen for some of the other giants that they've done in the line. It is worth noting he's not quite as tall as like the giant retro Turtles figures that are out there. And we'll get, you know, a better measurement of this guy when we get him outside of the packaging, but it's a total open box. The wings are blister carded to the back here. So hopefully there's nothing like, there's no like pulling heads off and stealing them. No worries about that happening in the stores, you know, that sort of thing. All right, so the back of the box has got some really awesome artwork of Mega Mutant there, or Super Duper Fly, whatever we want to call him. I've heard him called both of those things. I love this artwork right here, though, because it really shows you like how it's just a bunch of animals like stuck together. It's such a bizarre design. Like, don't get me wrong, I loved it in the movie, but this is one of those things where like we've once again kind of like reinvented how mutagen works, it feels like, because it's just like a bunch of like alive animals smashed together. It's so weird, but weird stuff like that is perfect for turtles. It's perfect for toys. So let's go ahead and get this guy pulled out of the packaging. We're gonna have to do a little bit of cutting here. We'll just get these ties out of here. And yeah, let me go ahead and get this going. This is gonna be the complicated one. It's like all the way down here at the bottom, wrapped around his foot. Oh my gosh, I thought I had him. He's still stuck. Ooh, come on, Super Duper Fly. Oh, got an arm attachment too. Okay, lots of pieces outside of the box. So we do have some minor assembly here. So one thing I didn't realize until I was opening it up is they don't have his right arm attached. So that's something that we actually need to plug in. It looks like it'll just pop right into the socket here. Boom, just like that. Oh, it actually locks in really good too. It doesn't look like we have to worry about it coming back out once you lock it in place. I like that quite a bit. And then we got wings here. I don't know, does he have like a extra wing? Because I feel like I got like a third wing here. But let's start trying to attach all our wings. Oh, we actually do have several holes on his back. So maybe one of his wings multiplied there. Okay, cool. So the little wings just plug in probably back here. Oh, those clip in place really nice. Oh, I see. So the holes on his back actually do have different sizes that fit the pegs of the wings. There we go. So there should be only one way to put these all on there. See, so this one looks like it goes here. Boom. And then this one goes just like that. Wow, that is quite the mess there. Look at all those wings on his back. But this is Super Duper Fly, or the Mega Mutant, or whatever you want to call him. That is him, fully assembled, fully out of the box. Wow, this is quite the beast of a toy. Holy cow. So let me go and bring in the tape measure here. So you guys can see that, you know, at the top of his head, it's about a little over 7 inches tall, but the wings are obviously going to go a little higher. You know, closer to 9 inches if we're talking about the tip of this one here. So he does feel like a big chunky figure. He doesn't stand super tall. It looks like we're going close to a little over 9 inches for the length of the body, which is like a full whale here. But of course, when you're talking about the actual turtles themselves, they are the 5-inch scale, so he will tower over those. So it seems like a good time to bring in turtles here, so you can see just how big Super Duper Fly stands. Look, Leo was so scared, he just fell straight over and he's dropping his swords. There you go. Really good demonstration here to show you just how big Super Duper Fly, or the Mega Mutant, is when compared to the basic Ninja Turtles from the Mutant Mayhem toy line. Like I said, these guys are in like that 5-inch scale. They're actually a little bit shorter than that. So you can see he's got quite a bit of height on them. Now, obviously, not the same as in the movie. He was like Godzilla sized in the movie, stomping buildings, pushing them over, and the turtles had to fight that giant behemoth. While that would have been amazing if they made something that massive, it's pretty common for Ninja Turtles figures, specifically from Playmates Toys, to kind of fudge the scale a little bit. At least they still made him a large scale figure, and this is still great for kids to like bash around and smash the turtles there. I do want to talk about the details on this guy too, because there's a lot of real fun stuff going on here. First of all, the articulation on this guy works as follows. You can see that the arms can move up and down, but they do also have those hinge joints so they can go outwards, and this is for both arms. You can see obviously very different in design there. And then the wrists are also articulated, so you can turn the hand on this side, you can turn the claw on the other side. The legs basically will just move forwards and backwards. And honestly, this is a nice tight articulation joint here, which is really good. It's definitely good that these joints are tighter since he's such an awkward shape. So that way it's pretty easy to find the way to balance him and he'll stay standing. You don't have to worry about him falling. With that said, there's no other articulation in the legs all the way down to the ankles where you can swivel those ankles. They're shaped pretty round, but that will come in handy still for like finding a good spot to keep the figure standing up on both legs. Aside from that, the only other articulation point we have is back here with the whale tail, which is ball jointed. Look at that. It rolls all the way around there. So that is pretty fun stuff. So it's pretty basic articulation. Oh, except I forgot to mention the most fun point of articulation, which is in the mouth. Look at that. Also, it snaps shut, which is kind of nice, the way it clips shut. But this is great. I mean, I guess if you want to get some nice eating, nom, 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 you could do something like that. But that is definitely a lot of fun. And also, like, look at that big tongue in there and all those whale teeth as part of the sculpt. Pretty fun stuff. Now, the sculpt is what I want to talk about next, because there's a lot of wacky stuff going on in here. Of course, if you saw Mutant Mayhem, you know that the Mega Mutant is just a whole mashup of different animals all together, which is really weird and wacky and just a kind of a different way for the ooze to work than we've seen in the past, because they're like all living animals just stuck to him there. But look at all of the sculpted details on here. You can see we've got the big elephant, we've got a giraffe, there's an octopus worked in here with his hair. This whole arm on this side over here, I believe those are all supposed to be apes or monkeys, which is really funny. And then his fingers over here are narwhals, which is amazing. Like, look at the 3 little narwhals there. His other arm is his standard fly arm from when he was just, Superfly. On the bottom, you can see lots of turtles that are stuck to the bottom. I do like that they painted these 4 green. That's an obvious Easter egg, right? 4 turtles right there. But there's more turtles on there that are unpainted. This is very typical. Lots of vintage Playmates Ninja Turtles toys had a lot of sculpted details that were unpainted as well. So you can see a lot of that going on in this. And then his legs are horses, just like in the movie. You can see in the sculpt is so crazy here. And they didn't paint it all individually. They just put a little bit of black wash on there. And like in weird places, it's not even all totally black washed. It's like blotches of it are black washed. But you can see all of the individual horse sculpts on there, which is hilarious. I kind of wish they would have like recreated one of the funny moments from the movie. I wish one horse was removable. Like you could unplug him. Because he doesn't need that one horse. I think that would have been really fun. I think that's a missed opportunity. Or maybe they didn't know that that was going to happen, so they didn't incorporate it. I think that just would have been a fun little Easter egg or fun thing to do. But it's pretty cool. Like, the sculpt on this guy is awesome. This is another one of those Ninja Turtles, like many. Like, I would love to see somebody like intricately paint this thing all up and get every little detail painted, because this could be a really insane looking monster toy if it has that level of detail in the paint deco. But regardless, even as it is, this is a really fun figure. I like it quite a bit. I'm glad that they made this figure. This was obviously a fun moment in the movie and a fun character. And if we're talking about kids buying this line to play with it, which is, kind of what it's intended for, I do think that this is a really fun toy to bash around and play with your turtles. So there you guys go. There is a look at the Mega Mutant, or Super Duper Fly, as he calls himself in Mutant Mayhem. This guy is a Walmart exclusive, but fortunately he doesn't seem to be too terribly difficult to find. So happy hunting, my friends, and until next time.